A victim testifying in the sexual offences trial of the controversial Nigerian pastor Timothy Omotoso and his two co-accused has written a letter expressing her gratitude to the public for all the support she's received. Cheryl Zondi has been under intense cross-examination by the defence lawyer Peter Doberman as she forwarded the statement earlier exclusively to the SABC. Civil society groups in Port Elizabeth have called for the closure of Omotoso's Jesus Dominion International Church. They will hold a mass protest, they say, on Sunday. Several organisations and the public supported Zondi at court and on social media, commending her for her brave performance and for coping fearlessly with the questions that were fired at her. Omotoso and two co-accused are charged with 97 counts of a sexual nature. For more, we cross to our reporter Jayed-Leigh Paulse in Port Elizabeth. Jayed-Leigh, so just tell us more about the letter she wrote.
That's very right. Well, you must know that the CRL Commission has been working very relentlessly with Zondi, helping her get over the ordeal. And they actually helped her draft that letter. That letter was then distributed to gender activists who then communicated with the SABC and several other media organizations to get Zondi's testimony out, or get her, her letter out and how she's feeling at the moment. But just looking at the contents of that letter, Francis, Zondi saying that she's still going to remain, firm in her stance, that she's going to continue fighting against sexual abuse against women, and that she will not allow anyone to break her. She also said that it's a very difficult time to be a woman in South Africa because these cases are happening all the time. But she's also, told other victims to stand in solidarity, to stand against sexual abuse of any kind, of any nature, whether it is your partner, whether it is a pastor in the congregation, anyone that hurts you or that, victimizes you, that they should really speak out. And I think a lot of people have praised her for that. I know that once that statement was released, several people came out, applauding Zondi for the way in which she handled the grueling cross-examination with defense advocate Peter Doberman, but also the way in which she handled the trial, calling her brave, calling her very strong, and also calling other victims of Timothy Omotoso that they also remain firm and strong when they take to the stand next week, Francis.
Jayed-Leigh, there was a fear that the questioning she faced would deter other rape victims, but then she was so strong. People were saying she could inspire other victims to come forward, and it sounds like she could be inspirational, and she wants to do that, and she wants to be a positive influence here.
I think a lot of people thought that Zondi would crack under cross-examination with defense advocate Peter Doberman. His line of questioning was very insensitive. And I think, the general public thought that eventually Zondi would crack, there would be inconsistencies, there would be flaws within her testimony, and then she'll just break down. But we haven't seen that as yet. Francis, she's been very strong on the stand. She's hit back. Some have even called her feisty with those replies to Peter Doberman. So she really has been a beacon of hope for rape victims who have been suffering silently, for rape victims who haven't come out and told their stories. And I think if we look at the general public, that's why they're applauding her and saying that, she has really been that beacon of hope. She has told a story, and the story that she told, they believe. And if you look at social media, Francis, people are throwing their weight behind Zondi. They're saying they support Zondi. We see this in the hashtag, Zondi movements. We've seen this in the hashtag total shutdown that protested outside court. But we're also seeing this in political parties. We're seeing this with several other organizations, civic organizations that have also come out standing in solidarity with Zondi. And now they're saying that they want to shut down the Jesus Dominion International churches across the country, not only here in Port Elizabeth, but several other, provinces. And I suppose we'll have to see what happens on Sunday when they, march and picket outside the Jesus Dominion International Church on Sunday. As they have alluded to, they're going to be marching there and protesting and calling for that church to be closed, and several other mushroom churches, they've used that terminology, mushroom churches to be closed across the country. They simply cannot have, pastors, foreign nationals coming into the country and abusing children and as well as women.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Jayed-Leigh Paulse, reporting on that letter from Cheryl Zondi, thanking the public. We stay in